For thousands of years, since the dawn of time, the normal progression of life is birth, and then you go to school, and then after school, you go to college, and then after college, you meet your college sweetheart, and then you get married and you have a job right after graduation. And then 8 years later, you get a divorce. You know, you somehow keep your job, but you're in an apartment, but at least you got to get the dog after the divorce. That has been the progression for thousands of years. That's why we've evolved from monkeys, just so that we can get a divorce and have our 8-year marriage. Now, the American dream is also, it falls in line with human evolution. I don't know how, but America has evolved with human evolution, where you do the pipeline of school, and then you go to college, and then you get married, get your job. You still get your divorce 8 years later, but you still fall in line, but you get that job. The job is a part of the evolutionary process. I don't know what's happened, but then for some odd reason, there was a virus that originated in China about 5 years ago, and it changed the game. It changed human evolution. Now you go to school, and then you go to college, and then you acquire hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, and then you flip burgers while doing Duolingo Spanish, because you gotta speak Spanish to your coworkers because they're the only ones that can work with you, and you never pay off your debt. What's going on in America? What's going on in the Western world? My neighbor, let me tell you something about my neighbor. My neighbors are very successful. You know, I don't know, we moved in before, we moved in back when the neighborhood was a little, it was a little rougher back in the day. But then things got cleaned up, Mayor Eric Johnson did his job in Dallas. And so our neighborhood got nicer. So we got some, wealthier neighbors. My neighbor, she walks up, talks to my parents, says, "Hey, how are you?" They send their kids to private school that is $30,000 a year. Meaning, I am 25 years old. I have never, if I were to add up every little penny, if I were to count the pennies, the monetary value would be below $30,000. Tell me why my neighbor sends their kids to the most exclusive private school in Dallas, and they want their daughters to become nurses. Nursing is a great profession. Nursing is the greatest profession. It's so great that AI has not figured out how to change adult diapers. And that is why my neighbors want their daughters to go to nursing, because they're worried about what's going on with the economy, what's going on with AI, what's going on with all these layoffs, that the solution, honestly, I think we evolved to just be nurses. That's all we should be, is just everyone go to nursing school. What could possibly go wrong if just hundreds of thousands of people just enter the nursing market? Luigi Mangione, what he didn't foresee is that people are all going to become nurses. So he didn't need to do what he needed to do. He just needed to walk up to the United Healthcare CEO and say, "Hey, just advertise nursing school. The cost of healthcare will go down." You're told about all these things about getting a career, getting a job, and that it's just this glorious thing. And that it's this, it's like the marker of becoming an adult is getting a job. But then when the job goes away or is non-existent, when you study finance or engineering or computer science, and you recognize at the end you have nothing to show for it, maybe if I had studied philosophy, I would complain. Maybe if I studied industrial engineering, I would complain. Or not, okay, maybe not industrial engineering, that's actually useful. I meant to say art history or African American studies, because I'm at war with African American studies. Why can't there be African just African, okay? Why do we have to add the American part? But if you did maybe a liberal art, the market nowadays is not the best for liberal arts. But if you do the useful majors and there's nothing for you to show for it, you basically just wasted years of your life going on Chegg, ChatGPT, and begging the TA for answers just for you to show up empty-handed at the end. The middle class is something that has been marketed. It's kind of been coveted. The people on these advertising agencies have just marketed the middle class for us For the last 60, 80, post World War II, you've been told about, your house in the suburb, get yourself a car, go to Disney World. You've been marketed all these things just for 2025 to come around and realize it was all a sham. It was never real. It was never there. And what's crazy about all this is we're still expected to pay rent, mortgage, car payment, Netflix. Netflix is definitely an essential item. So Netflix, you still got to pay your Netflix. And if you're me, Disney Plus and Spotify, I just can't get enough of these subscriptions. And yet the job that's supposed to support this income and this lifestyle, and it's not even a lavish lifestyle, being able to watch Stranger Things is not living it up. It's just how you cope with the fact that your boss hates you and you can't stand your spouse. And it's crazy to me that we have to now somehow make sense of everything that's going on, because trying to explain to someone Gen Z, Gen Alpha, young millennial, trying to explain to them that they're supposed to focus on career and that we're a family at work when the job doesn't even exist. It doesn't exist in either way. Because when I was about to leave Kava, there were 100 people wanting to be rice scoopers. And I don't know where these 100 people are because I don't see them on the street. But my boss kept telling me, oh, there's 100 applicants. And I was like, dang, man. If only I could get 100 girls after me. I don't know. I need to somehow, I think I just need to advertise I scoop rice on my Tinder profile or put it in a Hinge prompt. Next thing you know, my DMs would be blowing up. But the fact that there were 100 people just, wanting to have my position, it just shows you that things are lopsided. It doesn't matter. And the whole, oh, well, they didn't go. People, one of my coworkers had a master's degree at Shake Shack. The other coworker of mine had a business degree from the same school I go to now, which might be a red flag because I may have to go back to Kava if alumni from my school or I may have to, I might go back to Kava if alumni from my school end up at Kava working the same position at me. So this whole idea of just this pipeline that we've built is non-existent. But life goes on. You still have things to pay. You still gotta survive. Because at the end of the day, we are survivors. And what that looks at on the other side, I don't know. Maybe it's more debt. Maybe that's it. Maybe we just take on more and more debt. That seems to be the solution, to turn the US dollar into monopoly money. But giving people tone-dead advice doesn't really help anyone. It really doesn't. It doesn't help me. It definitely doesn't help the average viewer of this channel who may also either be in their career or in some kind of situation they don't like, whether it be a relationship or a family dynamic they don't like. Just telling them, oh, well, just, work on your job and hustle and grow. That doesn't, what does more money in the bank do if that money is just inflated dollars? Your rent is still going up. Houses are still unaffordable. And yet we're told, oh, just go to school and that doesn't help anyone. Yeah, getting a career, that's a thing of the past. That's in the past tense. People who are learning English or foreign language, when you learn about verb tenses, they need to add career in the past tense because it's not present or future. Those are gone. I guarantee you when, people study the American History Museum, they're going to look at this period in the 2020s and the 2010s. They're going to hear the term career because it's going to end up in a museum because it's something that's behind us. It's not something that's present. It's not something that's future. And anybody that says otherwise is not really telling you the full story. And what comes out of this? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe this is my start to get my 4th degree going to nursing. I'm going to go back to nursing school, guys. That's going to be the next title and thumbnail. I go to nursing. Jessica got accepted to nursing school. Can't wait to be in the NICU, taking care of babies or changing adult diapers because AI can't do it. But it's these things are things that we have to figure out, and we have to figure them out in real time. I'm not saying next week or this is happening right now. These layoffs are happening right now. Unemployment is increasing as we speak, at least within the United States. I can't speak for other parts of the world. Who knows what's going on in North Korea or South Korea? Who knows? I don't know what's going on in Thailand or Mongolia, or I don't even know, Zambia. Who knows what's good? I don't know what's good in Nigeria. I barely even know what's good in Uganda. But I just know that in the United States, things are not what they seem. And we just gotta figure out what happens. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked, my socials will be linked down below. And at the my socials, please like and subscribe. And also, we're trying to reach 500, so thank you for everyone who's subscribing. We're on the road to 500, so if you could help, that would mean so much. But even if you don't like and subscribe, just by watching to this part of the video means so much to me. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.